Hi, I'm Jana from the blog Lucy and Matilda. Everyday homemaking, simple, old-fashioned, and satisfying. Today, we're going to make a blueberry pie. Now, I want to talk a little bit about blueberries. Now, I've used frozen blueberries from Trader Joe's, but I would suggest if you can get your hands on some wild blueberries, frozen or fresh, that would make it the most perfect pie. When I was growing up, my parents and I and my brothers always picked blueberries in the summertime. Okay, let's get started. First, we're gonna start with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. 1 and 2 and 2/3 of a cup of lard. Now, I know not everyone is a fan of lard, but it happens to make the most tender pie crust that you can imagine. So whenever I'm making pie, I stick with lard. Now, I'm not really going to use the measuring cup for this because I have a full pound here. I'm just going to divide it in half and then divide it into thirds. That's good. I don't often measure perfectly, so stick it in there. We'll add a little extra. All right, 1 teaspoon of salt. Good enough. Now we'll take it over to the KitchenAid mixer and mix it until the ingredients are kind of pebbly and sandy inside. Now you can do this by hand if you have a pastry blender. Just use your pastry blender and blend in the lard into the flour until it's pebbly or sandy. So you don't really need a mixer, I just like it. Our flour mixture is pebbly, we're going to add the wet ingredients, which is 1 egg, and 2 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons of vinegar, 1 and 2, 3.5 teaspoons of water. So I'm just going to bring it over to the sink here. I'll blend in the egg with the water and the vinegar until it's well blended, and then we'll go over and put it into the mixer. All right. We're going to roll out our bottom crust and put it in the pie plate. I'll take the dough out of the mixer bowl and kind of give it a little bit of a knead and divide it in half. And set the top crust aside while I roll out the bottom crust. So I form it into a bit of a disc shape just to kind of keep it more round. And we shall roll it out. So roll it one way, turn it, roll it the other way. This is quite forgiving. This pie crust is very forgiving. So you can roll it as much as you want. Some pie crusts you can't roll them too much or they kind of get tough, but this pie crust is very forgiving. So see, I'm not doing a perfect job, but I'm getting it into a pie bottom shape. Okay, now I'll just use my rolling pin that my dad actually made for me and roll the crust up. Put the pie plate here and roll it back down. Kind of pushing it into the bottom. If there are some spaces, just do what I'm doing. Kind of squish it. There. Now you have your bottom crust. Now for our blueberry filling. I bought these bags of blueberries at Trader Joe's. So we'll open them up. You need about 4 cups. I don't know if you can see inside this bowl or not. I'll tilt it up in a second so you can see. It's about 4 cups. Now you add half a cup of sugar, approximately, and a 1/4 cup of flour, and just mix it to coat the berries. So the flour is going to be the thickening agent, because your berries are going to get pretty juicy in the pie. So as it cooks, the juice will flow out, mix with the flour and sugar, and become like a thickening agent. Okay, so now we're going to dump your berries into the pie crust. Hopefully they all fit. Okay, there we go. And now you're going to need about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So I just kind of shake it on. That's about 2 tablespoons of butter. So we'll just cube the butter onto the pie, onto the blueberries. So you don't have to be too fussy. It'll all mix together in the end. Just try and get it as evenly on your pie as you can. Really like blueberry pie for breakfast. And I also like it with ice cream, definitely with ice cream. Okay, almost ready here. So, as soon as I get this butter into pie, we'll set it aside. We'll grab our other ball of dough and sprinkle a little bit of flour onto the work surface and roll this little guy out. Okay, so remember to make a disc shape. Roll it one way, turn it, roll it the other way. Usually I flip it because it starts sticking to the surface. Roll it this way, turn it. And this pie crust can handle a lot of flour too, so you don't need to worry. Some pie crusts you have to really watch how much flour you put in. All right, this is good. Now we roll it up with our rolling pin. Ooh, that is a little bit too much flour. And just roll it onto the top. You might have to shift it a little bit. Now what I like to do is I take a little knife And I start at one end and just cut around the edge. My kids like to play with the extras that get cut off. Sometimes I let them, sometimes I don't, depending on how much time we have that day. And here we go. Now to crimp, you're going to place 2 fingers on your pie and on the edge of your pie and bring your other finger up like that. 2 fingers, grab the edge of the pie crust and bring it up, just like that. And that will crimp it shut, and it's also kind of pretty too. All right, and then you're going to cut a slice into your pie crust here, and oops, there goes the butter, here, and here, and here, and maybe one in between. All right, there you have it. The pie's ready to go in the oven. Okay, so we baked our pie at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I took it out about 45 minutes. So you might want to set your timer for 35 to 40 minutes and then start checking it. As soon as it turns, oh, this is still hot, but as soon as it turns kind of brownish and it's bubbling on the inside, then it's time to come out of the oven. Now let's cut into this and see what it's like in the middle. I think it needs to actually sit for a while, but let's see if we can get it out without it making too a mess. Well, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for coming over and making pie with me. If you'd like to see the full recipe, I will link it in the description box. And if you want to see more videos like this, click subscribe. Thank you very much. Have a good day.